All right, I don't know what happened last time. First of all, hello. I just tried to go live and my phone just shut down and restarted again. So I don't know what happened with that, but whatever. Moving forward. So I've been trying to do this live stream like all day today, and it's been a struggle because I've got the kids and yeah. So I've been busy with the kids and trying to keep them from killing each other. Um, but yeah, now they're in bed, so hopefully I can do this without an interruption. But to be honest, my brain's a little scrambled from dealing with that all day today. But we'll try. We'll try. So here's the problem that I've been seeing, and that's been bugging me a lot lately. Well, not lately, but for a while now. So, first of all, let's see who all's here. Nash, hello. Got George here. No, no. I mean, but here's the thing. We like to think that humans are somehow different than all the other animals that are on this planet, right? And that's fine. I mean, it's not bad to embrace those aspects of yourself, but there's a difference between, um, you know, all these other animals and us, okay? We have a higher cognitive function. Who all we got in here? Oh, hey, Forsaken. Turkane, evening, some surprising news about our friend, Richard Jetta. I asked him if he supports Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal on Twitter, and he replied 100. That's good. That's good. We are in the animal kingdom, and we can't separate ourselves from that. I mean, we still have a lot of the same instincts and drives and things like that. So, but there is obviously a difference between us and a dog or any other animal on the planet. And the thing is what I'm trying to get at is our humanity. That's our humanity and our intellect. It's our ability to think and feel. We have evolved way better than any other animal at these things. But at the same time, it's being stripped away from us. And that's a huge problem. We are being reduced to our just lowest instincts. And that's why a lot of these politicians are getting by with what they're doing, because most of us are consumed by, in our daily lives, by finding food, finding water, finding shelter. I mean, when you think about the homelessness and the poverty and our, the tainted drinking water, pretty much in all across America, we are fighting just for survival. We're in survival mode. Okay, we have a most of the population in America is just trying to hold it all together. And we don't have a lot of space left over after that to have feelings and compassion for other human beings or to have critical thinking or anything like that. We're de-evolving into animals again. And it's just a matter of what kind of animal do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be, I don't know, a slaughter animal sent off to war? Or do you want to be a work mule that, as soon as you get an injury, pretty much you're put out of, your misery and your master's. So, let's see what Chad has to say. Yeah, humans have the capacity to reason and have empathy. Um, And a lot of other animals do. A lot of other animals do, but we can't say, I mean, you can't say that we are exactly the same as any other animal on this planet. I mean, there are other animals that are close to it. Um, I think, what is it, dolphins and elephants and whales um, are pretty close. But furries, yeah. I mean, like, we're just going back. Yeah, I thought about furries when I was thinking about this. I was like, yeah, they're embracing it a little too much. But, it's each their own. But, yeah, I mean, like, I hate to see this. I mean, that's what I see here in my state is, we used to be, Southern hospitality and to love your neighbor and help everybody and, all this stuff. And just after so much of living in this struggle, now we're just reduced to just cruelty. Like it's survival. It's like I don't bothered with other human beings. Like that's the feeling that I'm getting from a lot of people. It's like whatever, I got mine. It's just this brutal way that we're living. And it's just I we're letting people strip us of our humanity. We're letting people strip us of our compassion and our empathy and our critical thinking skills. It's and it's not by accident, of course. I mean, this is all by design. This is all by design. It's all by design. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Um, because, and this goes into another thing that's been weighing on my mind pretty heavily, and uh, and that's the state of our education. I mean, there were several topics that I was really debating heavily on talking about tonight. One of them was direct democracy, the state of our education, um, pretty much civil disobedience, defying our masters, types of strikes, boycott versus, workers' strike. Um, but this is the one that really has been weighing on me the most and for the longest amount of time. And I figured I'd just share it with y'all. Nash said, who designs it? The people in power. Who owns the farm? Who owns the farm? The people in the corporations and the people in our government. They're the ones that have the ability to push us and to raise us in a way that these are our thoughts and our feelings. That we, like here, okay, I live in a state that doesn't have very much opportunity, okay? Higher education is not something that's very important. Not to say that people are stupid. That's the problem. People aren't stupid. They're very smart. But there's no importance on furthering the education because there isn't, there isn't any, what's the reason for that? And when you deny somebody something that they want, oftentimes you'll see the opposite side of that. So, like, the only example I can really think of is, have you ever, like, a guy, like, if a guy hits on you and they're like, hey, you're so pretty, let me get your number, and then you say, oh, well, no, and they're like, well, fuck you, ho, I don't want you, you're stupid anyway, and you're ugly, it's just like, you were just trying to hit me up. But then they flip because it's like then they have to hate the thing that they wanted. It's like a survival mechanism. They can't deal with that kind of thing. So then, they hate the thing that they want. So in a lot of places like here, you see a lot of resentment for, higher education or stuff like that. So and the other part of it is not to single it down to like just one thing, I mean, there's lots of reasons for it. I mean, they're also being burned by these people up in their ivory towers, like the Democrats love to embrace, that don't that are so out of touch and don't care about anybody. That workers or just your average everyday people. Let's check chat. Let's see who we got here. Haley said hyper individualism. We are prisoners of our own complacency. Check out the film Dinner with Andre. Okay, let me write that down. Keep notes. I gotta keep notes because there's just too much to keep track of in my brain. Dinner with Andre. Alright. I need to do a follow-up video about all the stuff that y'all have recommended and talk about that. I think it's funny when men mistake me being nice to them and then get all defensive when I turn them down. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I just try to be nice to everybody, but when you're nice to people, it's just like, oh, well, you're into me or whatever. It's weird. Joe said, I saw a yellow vest guy interviewed who said going out in protest is giving people human contact again since all the stores and pubs closed down in the French towns. Yeah, that's another way that we're cut off from being human, is we're cut off from basic human contact. I know here that's a big thing. We used to have family diners that were that were owned generation after generation that have closed down because nobody can afford to go there anymore. Flower businesses, things like this. It's like, nobody can afford these things anymore. And they're so busy working and doing other stuff anyway that we just don't have time for it. Let's see, John said, Americans have had it so much better than the rest of the world for so long that many have lost or are losing their ability to have empathy and compassion for others. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this is propaganda. A lot of this is, designing a system to force people into these situations where you just churn out people like this. Yeah, and it's really upsetting to see that because we spend so much of our time being angry and hating and having all this stuff, and it's not just we're hurting ourselves with this stuff. Not to be too all hippie about it, but you can't have hate in your heart and not have it directly negatively affect you. I try to be like that. I don't want to hate anybody. I don't. It's something I don't want to inflict on myself. So there's people like Joe Manchin that I really don't like. I don't like the things that they do. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hurt myself over him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let him take that away from me. Yeah, we do need more love in this world, Rosenfield. We do. There's a huge lack of it. There's no compassion anymore. That's one of the things that really upsets me about my state, is the fact that we used to be that. And the same people, like if you break down on the side of the road, I guarantee you, one of these rednecks will pull over and they will help you try to fix your car or get you to a safe location. We still do that kind of thing. It's a reflex. But at the same time, we, after people get out of church, they want to sit there and talk about how immigrants are ruining America and screw the refugees, poor people, screw them, they just need to work harder. I hope all these people that have addictions just die. Just stuff. I mean, just horrid things. Horrid things. And you know that it does not match up with their value system whatsoever. Whatsoever. But they regurgitate these things because it's just what it's regurgitating things without thinking about the stuff that's coming out of their mouths. Like you could obviously tell, like they haven't stopped to really think about, hey, this is pretty hateful, the stuff that I'm saying and doing. Propaganda, no, weed is not legal in my state, but thanks to Ojeda, we do have medical marijuana now. So he fought pretty hard for that. Let's see, Schultzy. Hey, Schultzy. The academic crowd and college graduates, people in general, often do not consider anyone without a PhD or a doctorate. My chat is really hard to see it with this phone. It keeps blinking on and off. Doctorate degree often frown on those that have not achieved that. Yeah. Yeah. That's becoming less of a thing, at least around here. How many people I've worked with that have had 4, 6, 8-year degrees? I've worked minimum wage jobs with a nuclear physicist. But the thing is that they don't want they don't want to leave the state. They love staying here. They have family here. They have friends here, and they don't want to leave. And so they've attained this education that is totally useless in the state. And that goes to the brain drain. States like mine, we don't have a very high rate of college graduates because we don't have opportunities. Now, the people that do go to college, they go other places because that's not going to get you hardly anything here. And it's not that and it makes it sound bad because it makes it sound like the people that are here are stupid, but they're not. They're smart enough. They know that going through college and doing all that stuff and still staying in the state isn't going to get them anywhere. So they just don't have an education, a formal education. And it's just not something that's worth embracing here. I mean, what does thinking about things get you? It makes you sad, makes you miserable. It doesn't, but that's just the way that most people think, Why bother worrying about all this stuff that we can't change when we can just check out completely? Yeah, George, I think you said it right. Not hate people, but remember, not everyone is a friend. We do have enemies. That is for sure. I do have enemies. But when I fight for stuff, this isn't just something that's going to benefit me and hurt them in the long run. These are the things that I fight for would help everyone. I mean, you look at people that are within the elite. They were not raised like us. Okay, they don't operate on that level. They do not have any real moments. They don't have human feelings. They don't have, it's all about money for them. Money and power, which, pretty much the same thing. Because whoever has the money has the power. So, you got to think, like, they just don't have, they have parents that are willing to sacrifice their future, for an extra buck, even though they're billionaires. Look at the Koch brothers, or George Bush. Look at all these families, and they're destroying the planet and destroying essentially their children's future just so that they can get a little bit richer. What's the point of leaving all that money to your kids when there's not going to be a world left? Let's see. Have I ever read James Howard Kunstler, World Made by Hand? No, I have not. I'll write it down. And it's just, let's see. Do a lot of people smoke weed in your state? You better believe it. You better believe it. That's why I never understood. Everybody was too afraid to speak out or speak up for legalizing it, but a lot of people do it. I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people. It says Louisiana. Rosenfield said Louisiana too. People say we are the nicest people, yet most of these people vote Republican. There's love, just not from our elected officials, unless you're a corporate lobbyist. Yeah. Oh, Dingo. Oh, you're from North Carolina? I spent a little bit of time down there. I got a lot of family down there. When I was taking care of my grandma, I stayed down in the Ballantyne. I don't know. No, start with a G. It was a weird name. I can't remember it now. Yeah, most of them live close to Charlotte. Yeah, dude, North Carolina blew my mind. Like, I know West Virginia gets a bad rap for like being racist, but like I went onto like social media, was checking out people from North Carolina, and they were like, um, just I mean, just wearing on their sleeve, man. They just didn't care. They just did not care. It's crazy. Would a college degree be more worth pursuing if it was free? There's see, that's the problem is like we're tying education to monetization. Like it's supposed to be this, there's benefit in getting certain educations, and but it may not be profitable. It doesn't hurt to learn these things. The more you know, the more that you can just like put things together from different um, fields. Like I study a lot about the medical field, so when I'm learning about politics and the government and stuff, I think about it in like the sense of a human body, you know, and so it kind of makes things a little bit clearer, or it's more easy to understand, even something that seems totally unrelated. But yeah, it doesn't hurt. What could possibly hurt from that? And but a lot of people don't pursue certain educations. Um, like philosophy and stuff. Now, philosophy impacts us every day. Everybody has their own personal philosophy, um, but that's not something you go to school for, right? We should know about it. We should know more about this. It should be taught in schools, but yet it's not something worth pursuing because you can't have a career in it. That's vital information that people could use to benefit their lives, but we don't do it. Oh, hey, Austin. Formal education does not necessarily make you smarter. Nobody is college degrees. Yeah, I mean, I've tried the whole college thing. I don't have a degree, but I've been a couple times. Uh, but yeah, I don't have a college degree, and I'm not going to let that hold me back just because I didn't pay money to a person for them to give me a certification saying that I paid money for this. I'm not going to let that hold me back. And that's what I'm saying. There's a difference. So I said earlier, they talk about the brain drain, but it gives this impression that the people that are left behind here are just a bunch of idiots when they're not. They just don't have a college degree. I mean, you know how many rednecks I know that can take a car apart and put it back together again? Or, I mean, you give them any kind of piece of equipment, they can fix it. They can fix your house. They can do your drywall. They can cement your driveway, fix your car. I mean, there's all this information stored in them. But at the same time, they'll rail against formal education or people that seem smart. Like, oh, you're just trying to be smart. And they get angry and they get offended about this. I mean, like, I've had this happen to me before, lots of times before. They're like, well, you think you're better than us? No, I don't. But I just think a little bit differently. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why we're so, like, threatened by that, and why we feel the need to squash people that do, like, that enjoy things like that. AI will wipe out our workforce. I don't see. I'm on the fence with AI. I think with the people that are in charge right now, it will not end well. They'll use it for nefarious reasons. But at the same time, why should we waste a human being on drilling in a screw on an assembly line when they could be more actualized and put into a better fit for them? I mean, if that's what they want to do, then have at it. But I don't think most people want this repetitive, boring, meaningless kind of work. Like, people are driven to a higher meaning. And that's another problem that we have right now, is like, people aren't being actualized. Like, they're not, it's all these baser things, but that we're not reaching a little bit higher for meaning or purpose because we're too busy stuck in the struggle of surviving. Yeah, Peter, they are killing our world, but they'll die too, but they don't care. I mean, it's just like a drug addict, you know? They're screwing everybody in their lives over, using people, hurting people, stealing from people. But at the end of the day, they don't care. They get their fix. And they also know that if they let it play out, it's going to kill them. It's going to kill them. But they don't care because they got to get that fix. Yeah, and that's why I'm focusing on stuff like this, because Peter said we need to remake our economy and our society. Now, the economy is the reason why we have people, artificially formed people, that behave this way. It's not a natural state of being. It's not natural. It goes against our nature to be like this. And that's why you see a lot of people on drugs, and that's why you see a lot of people, self-medicating with, different things, or with depression medicine. I mean, it's like, we're trying to conform to a reality that isn't real. We're trying to conform to this thing that these elites have created, and yet we're sitting here trying to fit into it. And so we have to do things and think things that just aren't natural. It shouldn't be. Yeah, and this is what I try to focus on. Stuff like this is like, instead of hitting at politicians, because they're just cogs. When one falls down, they'll put another one in place. I want to get to the root cause of this, really define it, and so that way we can fight against it. Because right now we're caught up in the game of it, like with just Democrats versus Republicans. It's not about that. It's not about that, because they're on the same side. It's about the ones that control this, that have all the power, they have all the money, and then there's the workers, the unemployed. We're the cattle. Haley said, I like the human body analogy. The body can only function when everything works together harmoniously. When any one cell prioritizes itself over the others, it is cancerous and needs removed. Yes, that's exactly how I think about it. That's exactly. I mean, you can't just have one system that just says, "Well, we're going to do our own thing now." That's not how it works. And it's going to lead to death. Like that's the body's going to shut down. The whole thing's just going to shut down. I mean, because we like to pretend that we live in America. We're like the front runners of this whole individualism movement, but we're we don't. That's not how the world works. You can't just live in your own little bubble. Everything you do affects everything else. But we like to pretend that we have that it's not like that, because then we'd have to think about other people, and then that hurts our brain and our hearts, and we just don't have the capacity to deal with that. I like that, Angie. You'll learn more on YouTube than Yale. Mm-hmm. Let me read through the comments. What will AI do to the South? I don't know what else they could do. To be honest, a lot of our jobs. I know here coal used to be a big thing. It's not. It's not anymore. We have healthcare because there's a lot of sick people. Because um, yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy when you pollute your air and your water. You get a lot of cancer and sick people and children. Um, so you can't really. I don't know. I mean, there's some AI to healthcare, but not really all that much. Um, but I'd have to look at all the other different states. Like I've researched my state and the kind of jobs that are here, and the most prevalent jobs, retail is one. So I mean, it could get rid of cashiers, which would be a huge deal. Between fast food and retail, there's a lot of cashiers, and if that's automated, yeah, that would be a death sentence for a lot of jobs here. Yeah, Peter, I wonder that too. I mean, I'm more of the mind that capitalism will always turn carcinogenic. Uh, just the very nature of it just seems like it encourages all the things that shouldn't be encouraged, like, greed and overconsumption and, stuff like that. But I'm willing to hear other ideas, but just from what I've seen. But then again, you got to look at it this way. What has capitalism done for me? I grew up in poverty. I live in poverty now. Um, I've seen it break down my family in their bodies, in their minds. Um, I've seen people buy stuff that they don't even need because they feel compelled to buy it, and then they're broke. And I just don't understand what capitalism has offered me. Why should I fight to defend it when it has done nothing but try to destroy who I am as a person, my family, my friends, my community? I mean, like, look at Walmart. What has that done to our local economies? What has it done to our families and our friends and, our towns? What has capitalism done? It's given us things that we don't need, that we feel pressured to buy. I just don't get. It puts money in the hands of people that don't even need it. It has people living on the street because even though there's houses, I mean, that's the kind of society that capitalism has formed, and I just don't see why we're fighting so hard to protect it. I like that one, John. People waste $150K on a education they could have gotten for $1.50 in late fees at the public library. Hey man, that's where I lived when I was growing up. I lived at the library. Austin said Spock. Yeah, I try. Like I want to. That's probably my favorite Star Trek character. I love Spock. We should be devoting our energies towards improving the human condition for all humans. Yes, because if they can do it to one of us, they can do it to any of us. And I don't want to live in a place or, in a country or a world where I have to fear being a minority. Okay. A dingo at me, baby. We can have a market economy without having capitalist class, nonprofit banks, credit unions, worker-owned co-ops, pretty much democratizing it and taking that power that they have accumulated it and spreading it out amongst the people. That could work. I would have to look more into it, but that sounds doable. Austin said we need a global movement, not just a national one. Yeah, because a lot of these corporations, I mean, if you shut it down here, they'll just go to some other country that's poor and do their shenanigans there. So, yeah, we need to have more of a global one, but I can only control what I can control. I can only reach as far as I can reach. So I'm reaching as far as I can right now. But yeah, in the long run, for this to be effective, I mean, we're going to have to do this on a massive scale because they'll just take it somewhere else, and the whole process will start all over again. I mean, this kind of thing has to be wiped out, and it has to be. You can't give them room to run. Let's see. If the elite held back and let us keep just a little, they could forestall the revolution. But they'll never see that. Yes, they'll never stop taking from us. They believe we'll just take it forever, and it's just like they can't even stop themselves from it. Like they know that there's only so much you can take from people, and it's just a game that they're constantly trying to keep themselves from going over that line. But the greed and the addiction will always make them cross that line. And I don't know how much more that they can extract from us. I don't know how bad does it have to get, because to me it seems pretty bad. Like right now it seems like when you look at things, but that's the thing, like we look at things in fragments, and that's one of the problems with like mainstream media is they'll say, oh, they might mention casually like the coral reefs dying. And a few months later, the Arctic shelf is melting. A couple months later, well, we're reaching record highs. That's interesting. But they don't ever let it connect. They don't ever let people see all together. Okay, glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, we've overfished the ocean, coral reefs dying, mass extinction, pollution, Cancer valleys. I used to think that Chemical Valley was a thing that was just here. I didn't know that there were chemical valleys all across the world. I didn't know there was one in Canada, because guess what? Mainstream media makes Canada sound like this big old, lovely place to live, just like they paint California out to be the same way, even though there's refineries everywhere. There's pollution everywhere. And it's killing us, it's killing our planet, but we don't put all those things together and see it all in the way, because when we put it all together, we have to look at what was the cause of it. Well, what was the cause? Endless consumption and greed. It was rich people trying to get richer. They're delaying it. Yes, politics is just a delaying game. It's a dead end. They're delaying the inevitable. Somebody's, like a game of hot potato. Somebody's going to get caught with it. They're just trying to be the ones that don't get caught with it. Oh, Forsaken, they are. They are horrible. I have tried to do this, and I get into such a rage over those automated checkout lanes, because guess what? Somebody always has to come over and help me. Always. Haley, I watch Star Trek all the time and hope. Oh, I know, right? Oh my gosh, like, to go out and explore and to just learn about the universe, not to conquer it, but to better ourselves from it, just for the sake of knowledge, just to go out there and to just learn, and to take care of people and not have, it doesn't have to be. Can you imagine if Jean-Luc Picard was profit driven? If he had somebody back home that was like, hey, you didn't meet your quota. I mean, have you found those valuable resources yet on other planets? That would not be, yeah. I wouldn't want to watch it. Earl Grey hot. Oh, Janeway, yes. Oh my God. Look, I thought Jean-Luc was going to be, y'all are going to get me off on a Star Trek tangent, but I thought Jean-Luc was going to be my favorite captain ever. There was no replacing him. And then I watched Voyager, and I was like, oh my God, Janeway is a badass. I loved Voyager. I binge watched that so hard. I haven't gone back and rewatched it like I have Next Generation, but yeah, Voyager's good. Nash, I'm an old Shatner and Nimoy forever. Yeah, it's different. I haven't finished that series. I think I finished the first season. I know I finished the first season. Oh, Leonard Nimoy. I love Spock. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm so behind on chat. Ah. I'm scrolling down to the bottom because I missed a lot. I get on these tangents, and I can start ranting about stuff and get all distracted. And all right, let's get down to the bottom and try to get caught up a little bit. Chris Hedges has it figured out. The political system is not going to deliver us. We have to fight for the change we want. Yeah, voting alone is not going to do it. We cannot vote in for saviors and heroes. We're putting people into a system that is corrupt. Every aspect of the system is corrupt. It's not just the politicians. It's the judges. It's the law enforcement. It's everything about it. Everything about it. And we're expecting them to navigate ethically through that system. They can't do it alone. We're not going to get something for nothing. We have to put in the hard work to get these things done. Yeah, Janeway. Oh my God. The first time I saw her was on Orange is the New Black. And then I started watching her on there. Oh my gosh. So what can we start doing now? That's the question, Peter. Let me go back to my notes. Okay. I've thought about this a lot over the past couple years, over the past couple months. But we can't keep enabling. You know, we're like these codependent people that keep enabling these people to do what they do. Now, I know that with the destruction of unions, striking is a lot harder to do than it was in the past. But the whole thing with capitalism is you have a seller, you have a buyer, and you have an employee. So in these areas, if it's not feasible for people to strike, then we just have to withhold our money from them. We cannot keep feeding the same beast, okay, with our work and with our money. We have to cut off their means of resources in some way. We have to starve their resources, because these are the things, the reason with our work and with our money, they are taking that and turning around and immediately screwing us by buying politicians that keep us stuck in that. We have to cut them off. And the thing is, that's the only thing they care about. You know that's the only thing they care about. That's what annoyed me to no end with AOC. Look, I don't think that she's a bad person, but I think that she's not, I don't like her strategy. What, you think by saying nice things to Nancy Pelosi that she's going to vote your way? You think she's going to give you health care because you suck up to her? That ain't going to happen. Money talks. Democracy walks. That's how those people think. Either you're going to get them some money at the end of the day, or you can get the fuck out. They don't care about anything else. Well, you think we're going to put pressure on them? Oh, no, people don't like me. When they own the, when they have the means to change a vote, throw votes out, flip votes, have voter suppression, you think they give a damn about your vote and what you think? No, it comes down to the money. If you can't cut them off from their money, they don't care what you can do. That's the only thing that they recognize. That's why they suck up to lobbyists. Because of the money. They give them money. We quit giving them money and work so that they can make money. Oh, that's when they'll start listening. Not a second before them. We're not going to guilt them into anything. They don't care what they look like. They've already shown themselves to be totally transparent about what they're about. Oh my God, Haley, I don't know if you're, this might be the first chat you've been in, but I'm telling you, I am agreeing with you so much tonight. Look, Haley said, I always feel like the holidays are like the purge of ethics. Like we're assholes to each other all year long, and then we purge all the good feels out and go back to being assholes. Yeah, I mean, I see that here all the time. All the time. Christmas time, everybody wants to be like, oh, we just love each other. It's all about helping our fellow people and love and harmony. And then January, like we want to pretend that like poor people are only a thing during Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff. No, they're still poor the rest of the year. But we only care about them during the holidays. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Like when I was a kid, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people, I grew up poor. And it's not that we didn't work or that we were abusing the system. My family worked constantly, but they could never get ahead, ever, because they were working for just nothing. And then there'd be an illness, or a car would break down or something that we could just never get ahead. And we were always struggling. There was just times where, dinner wasn't a thing or something, you know what I mean? But, you know, during the holidays, people would be like, well, yeah, that's a thing, and we want to help you. And then after that, screw you. And I don't want to live in a world where we have to rely on philanthropy. Fuck philanthropy. How about give people the means to take care of themselves, which is a thing that the coal industry does here. Now, I have a video about the propaganda that is used on Southerners, people from West Virginia, and propaganda that's used against us to turn people outside of the state against us, to create this stereotype of what we are here. Now, what they'll do is the Friends of Coal, which is, they say it in their name, they're friends of coal prophets. They're not friends of coal miners or the families that live in these communities. No, they're friends of coal. So what they'll do is they'll set up these things like their own little Toys for Tots. Now, they keep good paying jobs out of here, because if we have good paying jobs, nobody's going to be willing to go into a coal mine, right? So they have to keep all those jobs out of the state so that you can force people into this labor that isn't necessary, that's dangerous, all right? But then again, they don't pay them a living wage to where these people can afford to buy toys for their own kids, or to be able to buy Thanksgiving dinner for their own families. Now, the people that put them in this situation are now their saviors. They get to come in and be the good guy that takes their kids on field trips at school and pays for their classrooms and pays for their toys, or on Christmas, or their Thanksgiving dinner, then they're the good guys. And I've seen so many people take up for them, say, well, you know what? When I was little and we didn't have anything, the Friends of Coal came in and they took care of us. Yeah, because they took what was yours already. They stole it from your grandparents or your parents. They stole it from you, and now they're giving you a scrap of it, and now we have to be so grateful to them. Like, we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for them in the first place. It is depressing. That's why a lot of people just, I was getting into that. I was getting into that mindset. Really bad. It was really messing with me hardcore, because I was working myself constantly, constantly working. I'd go to work, I'd come home, I'd sleep. I didn't have time for anything else except just work. It was just always work. And then I'd get paid, and I'd take my money, and there you go. I didn't have money for groceries. I would just have to eat the leftover stuff from work. Or, I couldn't afford anything. I could barely afford the gas money to even get to work. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what am I even doing? It's just this cycle. Is this what it's going to be for the next 40 years or whatever it is, until I just drop from exhaustion or cancer, whichever one gets me first? Like, damn. Like, I can't. Like, it was messing with me. And this is how people end up bitter. This is how people get angry. And they start hating other people. Yeah, Peter, the way you take care of cattle before slaughtering them is not out of kindness. And yeah, It's definitely not out of kindness. Oh, Jake, I didn't even see you in here. Why is it that by the time the only time I'll catch you is when you say goodnight? But it's been a while, and hopefully we'll get to talk soon. Hey, Christian. Yeah, the sweet release of death. I mean, that's why you got so many Christians. They just totally checked out from this world. They were like, well, this is jacked up. Let me just fantasize about heaven in the next life, because this one is not going to be good. Yeah, Christian, yes, it's happening all over the country. I just thought this was a West Virginia thing. I didn't realize until a few years ago that, like, the scope of this. I mean, it's not even just my state. It's not just this country. I mean, they'll pull it on people like us first, right? The poor, minorities, or stuff like people like that. It's just but before they'll try pushing it on the middle class, or people with a little bit more money. Just oh, how come no super chat? I guess they changed the super chat rules to where it was before that you would have to have 1,000 subscribers. Now it's 1,000 subscribers plus 4,000 hours of watch time. So hopefully I can get that up and running soon, because that's going to be my dental insurance, basically. I need to go get my teeth fixed, and that's what I'm going to use it for. Is Rainbow in here? I missed Rainbow. What can we do to keep soaring rents down? Oh, I'm not sure about that one. I mean, that's something that I'd have to do more research into. The guy that built tiny homes in LA, the local government confiscated them and kicked the inheritance back on the street. Their solution was to build parking lots? It's not surprising. It's not surprising. So the only thing that I can think of to do for this is, okay, so we covered the whole don't enable them. Cut off the means, cut off their addiction, cut off the money, whether it's by not working for them or not buying from them. But it's also, this is a thing that they fight this on so many levels. So it's not just that, but they also form the way that people think, and the way they think and the way they feel through these mainstream narratives, and our educational system. I mean, our educational system isn't about creating thinkers or learners. It's about creating people that can just regurgitate information back to you. So when one of the biggest things I fight for is just question stuff. Ask questions, use critical thinking, and being skeptical isn't a bad thing, especially in today's world. Like, there's a lot to be skeptical about. A lot of people want to sell you something. And it's up to us to just be like, okay, so where are they coming from? I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole of paranoia, but to just have a healthy amount of skepticism. And just even question things that are, especially when it's presented to you as a given. Like, it's either a Democrat or Republican. That's the narrative. That's the choice. Those are the choices that we're left with. But then we have to question it a little bit more, like, well, what about these other parties? Why can't we have that? Or What's the difference between the two? Why, you say the Democrats are better. Well, let's look at the data. You know, we have everything that we've been taught. We have to go back and reevaluate it, which was one of the biggest things that I found when I started getting into politics and stuff. Was I had to deprogram everything that I've been taught. I had to go back and question everything that I thought was a given. I'd have to go back and re-question it and reinvestigate it because it just wasn't the case. Just be rebellious. Like, be a shit stirrer against these people. Like, just stir that shit. Just do it. I mean, like, just don't accept them. Don't just go along. Dig your heels in. When you hear something that's bullshit, call it for what it is. You know? I mean, right now, it seems simple and it seems like something that should be a given, but when I look back at the stuff that I believed and thought and the way that I acted before this, it was kind of like a dream. You know, I'm like, how did I go along with that for so long? How did I fall into that trap for so long? You know, but it was just all normal, and it's just, sometimes it's just that one thing that's just out of the ordinary that really jolts you, like, yeah, this is pretty messed up, isn't it? Like, it doesn't really make any sense what I'm doing, does it? And just talk to your friends and family. Just reach out and be there. Just be a neighbor. Help people. Don't let them rob you of your humanity and your compassion. I mean, we have very few resources as the working class and poor and the unemployed. We don't have a lot to work with, but that's an asset that we have. So I wouldn't give that up. I wouldn't give that up for anything. You know, just know things that, because they're going to keep taking. They're going to keep taking from us, and it will never be enough. They'll keep taking and taking and taking. It's like the giving tree until we're just a stump, and then they're going to sit on us. Don't be like that. Don't give them everything. Yeah, local connections are what makes the difference. It does. Yeah, Chris Hedges is a brilliant man. I've been reading his book. And Christian, since you're here, that's what I was reading on my. And there was let me see if I can find the quote in here. I highlight it. When I read a book, I make lots of notes and highlight. And there's some people, they're like, oh, how can you do that? It's a book. You shouldn't be like that with your books. Oh, well. Let me see. Where is it? It was so good. But he was talking about questioning stuff. I've got to find this quote because it was just so good. No, that's not it. Oh, I guess it's not. I'll do it later. I'll just do it later. I'm not going to waste y'all's time for me. You know, let me just sift through a book. I have considered it. I have considered running for office. When I was a kid, I wanted to be the first woman president. And then I got a little bit older and I realized you have to have money to do that, and you have to be popular to do that. And, well, I didn't have either one of those things when I was growing up. And then, you know, when you can't even keep the electric on in your house, or when you don't know if you're going to have a meal or what's going to happen, to have a dream that big, you're like, I don't even know. I mean, my house might get repossessed, you know? And I'm sitting here thinking about being a president. If I can't even keep a house, how am I supposed to be a president? You know, it's just too big of a dream. Then your dreams get a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. And so I gave up on the whole thing. But I don't want to make myself small anymore. None of us should have to do that. And while my perception about what I want to do has definitely changed, I don't want to. With the way things are right now, people are still looking for a hero. And I don't want to be that. I want to help people. I want to help people to help themselves. I don't like we have to change the way that things are structured for people to like look at that and say, "Well, vote for you," because whatever reason. I mean, I don't want people to look, vote for me because I look good in a suit or whatever. Like, not that I've ever had one, but yeah, I mean, just silly reasons that we vote for people, or just because I had a certain label next to my name. I just don't think that people are ready for that yet, and I'd like to get us all on the same pages about stuff. Oh, Jeremy, I'm sorry you're too late. You wouldn't be the first pothead president. I think we've had several by now. But somehow it's still illegal. Isn't that funny? Yeah, so I was to say you wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't want to be a leader in the U.S. They get shot 100% of the time. Yeah, see, that's the thing with me. Maybe it's because I've struggled with depression a lot in my life. I really don't have a fear of that. Like my friends, I walk around bad neighborhoods and they were like, "Aren't you afraid like somebody's gonna try to hurt you?" And I'm like, "What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Bring it!" Like when things get that bad, you're just like, I really don't care about that anymore. It's inconsequential, and I'm just one human being in a sea of humans. My life isn't that important. I keep on wondering what year we finally have nationalized health care. Sometimes I get disappointed and think it won't happen during my lifetime. I don't know. Look, I'm not giving up. The thing is with our environment, we're on a course with destruction, and a very soon imminent destruction. And if things don't change quickly, that's healthcare is going to be the least of our problems. I hate to say that, but I mean, think that's bad. I mean, it's bad now, but it's going to get to that point where, yeah, we're going to have massive environmental catastrophes. So that's why I am doing this every day. Even if I'm not doing live streams or videos, it's, that's a day of research. It's just, I'm constantly working on this. But you know what? For some reason, this is way more gratifying than the job I get paid to do. I don't mind all this work. I don't. I mean, I've met so many wonderful people through this, and had so many discussions that have like opened my mind and the way that I think, and has added to my body of knowledge that it's great. I'm a man. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and, because we've been at this for like an hour and 10 minutes, and I want to leave you with a quote that I love. This quote. I love this quote. It's from Charlie Chaplin, I think it was called The Great Dictator. But I think it perfectly sums up what I've been thinking and feeling. I haven't seen the movie. But I've seen this part, and it's goosebumps. Like, this is it. This is exactly everything that we're dealing with, and it's not just don't give up the hope. So it might take me a couple minutes to read through this, but it says, "To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourself to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men, and you have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men. In you the people have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this a wonderful adventure. Then, in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise, and they never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate, and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite." I love it. I love it. And that's how you get a Star Trek world. So yeah, I had to share that one with you because it's one of my favorite ones. And that's what I fight for. That's what I believe in. Don't become the machine. Don't let them rob them. Don't let them rob you of that. So with that being said, I'm really glad everybody was here. And I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully, maybe next time we can delve into direct democracy, because that's something I've been playing around with. I've been researching that a little bit more. I don't know a whole lot about it, but from what I've been reading so far, that's kind of, I know that there are some potential problems with it, but I think it's something worth looking into that we can discuss. So, yeah, good night.